essentially you identify that your entry was off really early on. That it allows you enough time to actually place a hedge.
Gotcha.
It can be done. It's just it takes time and experience. I'll make a video on hedging. The next hedge that I take, I'll make a video on it.
Nice.
And I'll explain what actually I'm doing. USD CAD, stop loss, break even, impulsive move, consolidation, next leg higher is what I'm thinking on USD CAD here. If the dollar keeps rising, right, if DXY keeps rising, we'll see USD CAD and USD Swiss. USD Swiss came back and, right, hit my stop loss for break even, got out of that trade. I still confirm that this is going to go higher if anyone is still in it. I'll keep tracking the trade, but because I do know some people are in it, but I don't think I'm personally going to be entering in the trade again, just because I would want to wait for a better entry point at this point in time. But let's go ahead and look at that at XK, because if XK is saying something different, that real impulsive move, it might actually be worth the risk. USD Swiss. Let me save this template. All right, USD Swiss, 4-hour time frame. We're looking like, yeah, it's confirmed bullish. We just had a break of that 4-hour 200 MA. We had the original break here, and then seeing it come back down, trade a little under the 4-hour 200 MA. We saw a small breach up. So this first impulsive move was really that strong break of the 4-hour. The last time it was traded above that was way back here, way back in May or something. It was trading above that. So to see a break above that, that's a pretty good sign that we might see a trend reversal here and start to begin to go to the upside. Daily time frame, long ways away from that 200 MA on the daily. Holy cow. I mean, that's like an example like here. Look at how far away we are from that 200 MA. Normally, we'll see, eventually we'll see a retest of that. All right, and also looking at the daily time frame, let's go back to that, scroll in here so you can see a bit more. Go full screen here. Right, everything is kind of lining up. The only thing that we're not seeing, right, is confirmation 1 and 2. This is where, like, some of my rules, you know, just because you're not seeing those confirmations doesn't mean you can't enter in the trade. And this is kind of, again, where the experience comes in and you guys actually taking these trades. I hope that everyone, you know, after maybe even listening to this call, sets up a demo account, right? Set up a demo account. Doesn't really matter the balance. I suggest you just go for it. Make an account with a big balance. What kind of size account do you think you want to trade in the future, right? Start trading that on a demo, just for fun. Why not do it, right? So I say take that and take all of these trades on that account. That way you get all the practice, right, on every single one of these trade setups. If you miss a trade setup, say, hey, you know, you don't check an alert, the trade setup doesn't come through, or you don't check it, right? Hours have gone by. It's not the perfect entry. Take it on a demo. See how the trade plays out, right? That's the best way to find out if you're going to be making the right decisions in the future, is you have to become confident in yourself in making those decisions. The only way you're going to become confident in yourself in making those decisions is actually doing them. And then after you're right, X amount of times, you start to build up that confidence, right? So take all the trade setups, put it on a demo account of your dream style lifestyle of Forex or trading, right? And that will help you become a better trader and doing the practice here, right? We don't have those confirmations, and this is what I'm saying is we don't have confirmation 1 and 2, but I still see this as being a very good trade that I could definitely enter in probably on Sunday night. We were in that oversold area on that stock indicator right back here, and we kind of just been slowly actually coming back up, right? We're on the stock indicator, we're actually creating a higher high, higher low, right? Higher high, higher low. So we should see the stock indicator actually come above this recent high, which was at the 80 line on the stock right now. We're looking at the RSI. We just breached above that 50 line on the RSI, so it's kind of risky, right? We could potentially see that downside. But again, if we watch the dollar, we start to see the dollar rise, we're also going to see USD SWAS rise because the US dollar is driving everything. And on absolute strength histogram, we're about to get those lines crossed. I almost guarantee you that on Sunday, these lines will be crossed. When we open up the markets on Sunday, after that day ends, these lines on absolute strength histogram probably will be crossed, and we should see this trend continue for the next 1 to 3 days. So this is a trade setup that I'm actually very confident in. We could even use a tighter stop loss rate almost below this. So we don't even have to put it probably below here. That would be ideal, but we could actually probably put in a tight stop loss. I will look at that trade more over the weekend, see if everything lines up, look at the news, look at everything. And I think this could be a trade that if someone wanted to start their FTMO trial, this could be a trade that could pay out and you could pass potentially, just with one trade. Yeah. Because you pulled
keeping my eyes open actually, and I was going to ask you for the trades that we've already been in, if you can keep an eye for like a re-entry for possible good trades, because I was going to do the FTMO trial this week and then hopefully have it passed by the end of the month.
You're a little muffled. I couldn't hear exactly everything you're saying, but you're saying that you're thinking that you were going to ask me that.
I was going to ask you if you keep an eye out for re-entries for the trades that we were already in.
Okay.
I'd already covered it because I was going to start my FTMO trial this week. I was going to this last week, but things just didn't work out, and I wanted to wait and have a clear mind before I started it.
Yeah, I think this would be one of those trades. Like I said, I'll update everyone on Sunday on where I'm going to enter it in. We'll see how the markets open up, but we might enter this trade live on Sunday's call.
Cool.
I'll keep an eye out for any others. Normally, if you guys just ask me for an update too, like if I haven't posted an update on a currency pair in the Telegram chat in like a while and you need an update, normally if you just say something, I'll try to get that done. It may not be immediately, but I try to do it when I'm available and can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
NZD, heading into some drawdown on this currency pair. Remember also posting up in the Telegram channel that this was going to begin to be bearish. Right, I sent out a voice message pretty much stating that we risked so we did see take profit one hit, right? I adjusted my take profit one. I remember that. Yeah, we adjusted my take profit one, hit that, closed about 25%. And now we're seeing some drawdown on this trade. Is there anyone on this call in this trade? No. Okay. All right. If anyone is in the trade.
Yes, Sienna said yes.
Okay.
And Urban.
Yes, I'm in USD Swiss. He's not in Euro NZD. We'll look at it though. So for this is we did hit kind of a bottom here, right? Hit that most recent low. Looking at the stock indicator, we're in the oversold area. That's a good indication we should see a move higher. Looking at the absolute strength histogram lines, they're starting to come towards each other, right? So this is kind of being set up like it might have been just a double bottom here on the daily time frame. and we could potentially see this oil, USD, and gold. We'll be getting to oil and gold real soon here. Yeah, those are good trades. Yeah, 4 hour. I'm thinking we're just seeing a double bottom on Euro NZD. Should see a push higher. If you're watching this recording or want me to go more in depth, you can message me and I'll post up a more in depth, detailed one. We want to spend more time on these trades that you guys are in, though.
That I'm actually in that one. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. But Euro NZD, I got pretty much most of what you were saying. Double bottom, and it's probably going to be
double bottom.
Back
I'm
up
thinking
now.
that. Yeah, this could potentially come higher, but I'm thinking if we think GBP NZD is going to lower, I think NZD USD could potentially rise. Yeah, this one might, because Euro strengthening. Yeah, I'm 50-50 on this trade, Clint. I really don't know exactly. I'm not confident that it's going to go up, and I'm not confident that it's going to go down. Most trades I kind of get, hey, I think, it's over 50% for sure. It's going to go this way. But this trade, I think I'm a 50-50 on it. Just looking at, let's look at that weekly time frame. Weekly cross on the absolute strength histogram. I think we have a monthly cross too. Monthly cross, absolute strength histogram. Off of that monthly 200 MA. So this must be like 20 years of data. Most currency pairs don't even have a line on a month. Yeah. So I would be looking to hedge this, Glenn.
I think I'll probably just close it out.
I would wait for a confirmation that's going to continue lower because it might have a small retracement, right? And you may be able to close it out with a smaller loss.
And then
I would be watching is the 4 hour time frame. You just set an alarm or something or whenever you can, right? Every 4 hours, just check on the trade to see how the candlestick closes out.
And then just look at what my indicators are saying on the 4 hour time frame.
Yeah.
Anyone as an exit indicator, which one would I be putting the most weight on? Like, let's say they're not all agreeing. And some are saying long, some are saying short on the 4 hour time frame. Which would I give the most weight to as far as
the absolute strength histogram?
Okay.
Yeah. So what really did it for this one is we should have exited out when we saw these lines diverge because I think we've been in the trade since then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We saw these lines diverge, and normally when we see that happen, we see an impulsive move continue, and that's exactly what we saw. So once we saw like a day right after this, right, the lines were coming to touch here. That was on the 17th. 4 hour. I thought we were looking at the daily. My bad. Around the 4 hour, we should have done that. Let's see what it said on the daily though. Let's put a line here, right? Lines diverge there. Go to the daily time frame. Yeah, daily time frame, we had a line cross back here. So we're in this trade.
On the 16th.
Says I was in it on the 7th.
On the 7th? Oh, I placed it on the 16th.
Okay, you placed it on the 16th?
Yeah.
All right, so you see nothing but drawdown. All right.
Pretty much.
Really good at guessing that top, huh?
Yeah, so I gotta just
go to the daily. Yeah, so that was right here. So you placed it right after we saw a daily cross on the absolute strength histogram. I guarantee you, Clint, if you probably saw that and probably would have entered.
Yeah, I probably
been your exit. That would have been your exit because we just have a fresh daily cross. But you probably entered it in because you saw it maybe touching that 200 MA.
Yeah, I didn't write a note of what my thinking was at the time. I know I wasn't drunk, but drunken behaviors when I was sober, apparently. Probably a 4 a.m. trade.
But I would use the best confirmation would be the absolute strength histogram. All right, dollar I'll touch on. Almost an hour and a half into this call. Probably get this wrapping up at like the 2 hour mark. Right, hit that monthly support on the dollar. This is actually drawn on, this trend line is drawn on the monthly time frame. It's been pretty well respected. And for some reason, everyone that I know thinks that the dollar is just going to drop. So when everyone else is doing one thing, I tend to normally do the opposite, and I'll go the opposite way. If everyone's trying to short it, I bet you it's not going to go short. I think we're going to go up. I take profit. I'm not in a trade right now, but I think probably by the end of this month, we should see it hit 94. I'm honestly thinking we'll come back up to the 95, and then we'll see, if that's going to act as a level of resistance. But as of now, I still see that dollar continuing higher. Can briefly look at it on XK. Very long history of the dollar, so it's not like we can look at a lot. Like onto the monthly time frame, this is the history we get. So that's why I use trading views, because it gives you the full history. Use a Wanda's feed, it'll give you the full history. When you brokers do a lot of manipulation, they don't always have the right prices, right? And your analysis can be a little off, honestly, based on the broker that you're currently using. And if you trade on one broker and do your analysis on another broker, your trades could be a bit off also. If you guys are using
Our prop firm.
don't do any analysis on a
Our prop firm.
broker. If you put up the XK indicators, you are more bound to have losses, because their server, honestly, is the one downfall. It's kind of crappy. They just tried to update it and stuff, and when they did it, they lost all of the data. So candlesticks from back days ago, even, or weeks ago, is totally dummy information. It's not the right candlestick. It shouldn't look like that. So that affects all the indicators. So if you do your analysis, choose a different broker. I personally, use KOT4X. Don't have any issues with a whole lot of other brokers, but dollar, right? Absolute strength histogram. Lines are about to cross. What we're just really watching is that 200 MA. But we've been trading below that 200 MA for quite some time. It's bound to have some type of retracement. It's just how the markets normally work. So daily cross and absolute strength histogram, I'm thinking next week we're going to see dollar continue to be bullish. Gold. This is another trade where I'm counter trading. We have news articles coming out. Oh, gold's at all-time highs. Everyone's buying gold. Shortage of gold. Warren Buffett just bought, a couple billion in gold or something, or silver. Everyone's trying to get long here. That pressure could continue to the upside, but there's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name is Mike Maloney, and he's been saying that the brokers and everything have just gotten absolutely destroyed on this move to the upside, and they never covered their shorts. They lost billions of dollars. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to get that money back. So if everyone's going long here, we have a recent break of this channel. My interest is going short. I think we're going to be heading back down to these 1818s, potentially even going back down to that daily 200 MA. That's long time frame. And if we see the dollar continue to push up, this is going to push gold back down. When we look actually on XK, I'm thinking we just had a recent daily cross too, right? We're in that trade. Had some re-entries on it. Took some profits. Do gold here. Gold. There's a a little short all the way down there. Down at the very bottom. Come into that daily time frame. It's been quite sideways on that daily time frame, right? We've seen a pretty strong level of consolidation. B-bands is getting really skinny, right? It's really short and small here. A lot of times when we see that, normally it's just like a spring. It's going to, be ready for a big push. We saw this huge state of consolidation, and then B-band started expanding again, and we saw that volatility. But what I was saying, want to look at daily is actually this absolute strength histogram. These lines are actually touching. If we see this push down a little lower, and these absolute strength histogram lines cross for a bearish trend, we're going to see new lows. But we would have to see a break of that 1900 level. We have to see, if it breaks 1900, I hope that we're all watching it when it breaks 1900. It's going to send. It's going to send, and I think this is a trade that will also help people pass their FTMOs fairly quick. You have to be careful with gold because small lots get you a long ways. Right, trading underneath that 4-hour 200 MA. When was the last time we were trading underneath that 4-hour 200 MA? 4 years ago. It's the first time we're ever traded underneath it. 4 years. I'm liking the odds for a bearish trend. So we are still in slight profit from our original entry. Right, came down, hit take profit 1, came up, had a retracement. I got short again at 1945 area, and then we pretty much saw it just completely go against us. I did say that was a riskier trade, and the thing was like a couple hours after we entered in the trade, I said that we were actually going to see probably a test of 1960, and it came right into that 1960 mark. This is also that 38.2 retracement on the Fibonacci on that daily time frame. So good candlestick, right? Weakness and the bullish pressure. I think we're going to see this head lower. I'm going to add silver to the list because gold and silver move very, very similar pretty much. You can trade them both. Silver pays out a lot more for little, it doesn't have to move as much. You think it's not moving that much, but it actually pays out more. So this is another, might be getting short on silver also. So stick tuned for that. I did buy it at $12. I posted this trade up on my Facebook. You can go to my Facebook profile and you can search for this post. I posted this up on Facebook, made it public to everyone that I was buying it at the $12 mark. And we have seen this huge increase here. Right, my target is all the way up. But just to give you a perspective, we're up from current price. We're up 117%. Absolutely monster of a trade. Monster. That was probably my best trade in my ever. It's nuts. Damn. So we'll be adding to that. Probably ended up shorting it. We'll see how the dollar plays out. Have to see what the Fed's doing this weekend. They came out with some stuff. I have to catch up on that. I haven't seen anything on that. There's U.S. oil and there's U.K. oil, kind of like gold and silver. They move very similar. I prefer to trade UK oil. Don't ask me why. I don't really have a very definite reason why. I prefer to trade UK oil. It's just the one I chose. But I just decided to trade one. I don't see the point of entering in both. It's just another trade to manage. If I'm going to trade it, they move very similar. Just trade the one. That's why I was really sticking to gold. But I'm going to add in the silver too. So UK oil, let's go ahead and look at that. We were long on UK oil. I haven't, we're on the monthly. Good, 4 hour. All right, we went long. We got long right in here. Right in here. I think it was like right on this candlestick, right? Got long here. Took our take profit 1 and 2. Actually pull up that trade. UK oil. right here. Yeah. So we got long here. Wow. Okay, that was a nice trade. See nothing but profit, right? We had that first move up, retracement, and then next impulsive move. I also took this based off of another confirmation that I use is Gregory Manarino. He also has a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is subscribed to a certain amount of channels, and all of those channels I follow. Like, watch every single one of their videos like the moment it comes out. He gave me some intel that he thought oil was going up. Felt very confident in this trade setup that we had here. We actually did have it hit take profit too. I know I closed out a bit early that trade. I think it was like right around there I closed out, but it ended up hitting take profit too. You never guess the top and bottom, right? It was still in a winning trade, and then post up right, we had a sell limit, and then we got in the sell position, which in a little bit of profit. I'll update this trade. But I do see that heading lower. Let's go ahead and check it out on XK. UK. All right, we're looking at the 4-hour time frame. All right, initial break of the 4-hour 200 MA. Retest of the 200 MA. That bounce off of it. We have the absolute strength histogram lines are crossed for a bearish trend. RSI is right above the 50 line, and stock is, right above that. So once we get that confirmation on the absolute strength histogram, I don't pay attention a lot to what the stock indicator and the RSI are doing. I pay attention to them really when they start getting back into that oversold area for this case. As of right now, I'll still be more making my trade decisions based off of what the absolute strength histogram is saying. So now that plays more weight into my trade once I'm in it. These other ones, I don't look at them or take them into consideration as much as I would for my entries. They're more so used for entries. The absolute strength histogram is a lagging. It will confirm that the trend is going to continue in your favor. So I think we're going to see oil, come down. And if we see oil come down, we're seeing the dollar rise. What do you guys think is going to happen to Dow Jones? This is the actual question. If we see the dollar rising, we see oil going down, what's going to happen to the Dow Jones?
We go up with the dollar.
I'm going to guess it's converse.
It's going to go down.
Yeah, it would go down.
Do you guys remember I sent out a screenshot on Dow Jones? So Dow Jones, industrial average, right? Average 1 month % change of all years. So this is taking all of the years back since 1868 to 2012. It's taking the average of all those years data, per month. And it's saying September, on average, we end up being about 1% lower. With the current economic situation, I'm thinking we're going to see more than 1% drop. That's just a guess. But I think we're also going to be able to ride US 30 down for a little bit here. XK is lining up. That's going to be a sell. US 30 is another. A 0.01 trade could potentially, bring in some ridiculous profits on a small account even. Let's pull up this trade here. This is going to be the last one that I gotta go over here. We don't have any others. We were in Euro JPY, right? This could be a longer term trade. This was a scalp, right? Sell limit, just absolutely. I'll do this one real quick and then we'll dive into US 30 and then I'll open up to any more questions. I had 2 other sell limits put in place and this one just got triggered like, I don't know. I've only had this happen a handful of times. It's pretty amazing when it does. And this is, I personally like the sell limits and buy limits is because generally they're better entries because normally when you do a market execution, you're kind of chasing the trade, right? You're not waiting for the trade to enter into your buy zones and sell zones. You're just, kind of chasing the trade. But with these sell limits and buy limits, you're like saying, hey, no, I'm not entering in the trade unless the market equals, in this certain zone. So normally the sell limits and buy limits have a higher win percent too. That's a good thing to note in the future trades. We saw, take profit 1, take profit 2. Didn't say take profit 3. My broker did. That's the thing with different feeds and different brokers is the price could vary. I know on FTMO, some people, were saying, the oil and the gold prices were kind of messing up. So you just have to be aware of that. That's something that you're just not going to get away from. Unfortunately, every broker that you go to, they're going to have some type of issue. And it's kind of like, when everything's just going perfect and you're like, oh, nothing's going to come up, and then something does. It's just like that emergency case thing. Like something's bound to happen. And it's just something you have to work with trading is there's going to be brokers, some type of broker manipulation. The broker is going to do something and you could potentially lose a trade. It's just part of the game. Let's check out US 30 now. All right, so we got short on US 30. Wasn't the best entry. What I was seeing on this entry was this. We're looking at the 20-minute time frame right here. Initial impulsive move, right? Break of that 20 MA or 200 MA. This is the retest, and then we saw a lower high. Didn't see a lower low here, but I thought that this was kind of a stair step down, and that's where I got short in. We did have another retest of that 200 MA, and now we saw that crazy of a move down, and we did end up winning this trade. I know some people, I even said that we could enter it in after it hits take profit, but I said, hey, I think this is going to continue a little longer. If you wanted to take on a little additional risk, obviously your stop loss would have been up there, so it would have been a lot more risk, but you could have entered it in and caught the trade a little lower. Right now we're seeing that retracement kind of up. We'll see how Sunday and Monday kind of plays out, but I will be looking to short US 30 again if XK lines up. And as of right now, it is telling me on the daily time frame that it is going to be going shorter. So let's pull up US 30. Looking at that daily time frame. Right, we were outside the B-band zone. Red arrow was present. Would have been lovely to get that entry. We're a little late to the party on the B-band zone, but it really hasn't moved a whole lot in this area. And we've just seen this ridiculous bull move here ever since the crash. Complete, like almost 100% recovery. I would love to see a retest of this 200 MA on that daily time frame. Looking at the absolute strength histogram, lines are about to cross, right? Red line on top, about to cross here. That's going to tell us that on the daily time frame, next 1 to 3 days, we should see this trend continue. Stock indicator, we actually have a line cross too on that. And we can kind of see it's been making lower highs on the stock, right? It came all the way up to like the 100 percentile. Then we're just at the 80, and now we're right below that 80. So we should see the stock indicator go into this oversold area, I believe, on that daily time frame. And that's what I would be looking for as an exit on US 30 here. So we took the profits on this trade. I will be sending probably another trade set up. Moves pretty impulsive, so I think we're going to see a decent size retracement that we'll be able to get short on. And this is a pair that's really easy to stack on because unlike a currency pair, US 30 it moves. Like on a currency pair, normally you have pretty high spreads and your entry, right? Your spread, if you move your stop loss to break even really early on, the spread alone would just hit your stop loss. But with US 30 having such a tight stop loss on a lot of brokers and it moving and trending longer, you can actually place a trade, wait on the 1 minute time frame and wait for like 3 minutes. And if the trade continues and everything's still lining up, you can enter in another. Wait another 3 minutes and you can enter in 3 or 4 positions. And they could be all moved, stop losses all moved into profit, right? And you could ride the wave. And then and that's how I would stack. And I showed some screenshots earlier in the group on how I stack trades, which, there'll be another video sooner or later on how I do that. So it's pretty much all the trades for the week. Quite a long call. I'm glad that, I'm able to do this. I hope that helps you all, understand the strategy better, get some insight on my thought process on what I'm looking at, and it helps you become a better trader. I want to open it up now for any questions that anyone has about any trades, anything that I spoke about. Floor is open.
I have a quick one, and maybe I missed this because I had to step away there, but did you go over NZD USD already?
NZD USD?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did? Okay, no problem. I'll see it when I edit the video.
Any other questions?
Jesse, I've got a question, please, about how you set buy limits and sell limits, or buy stop. So I can see that there's some on those charts, and I was just looking to see if there were any candlesticks or like resistance support areas. That do you just look at that they're in your buy zone and just pick a figure? Is that sort of how you do it? Because you pick a couple, it looks like.
Yeah, so what I end up doing is I get trade setups, trades from all different, sources. Like I'll look on TradingView sometimes and look for trades and see where support and resistance are. So I'm looking for like key levels that other traders are taking too. And what I'll determine is a buy or a sell zone. So based off of 4-hour support and resistance normally, or daily support and resistance, and a couple other traders, then I'll figure out where that buy zone is. And then in that buy zone, it'll vary, in length depending on the wicks of the candles in that buy area or the sell area, right? And I have that set. I just evenly spread them out. There's almost, what you could do is, I don't do it as often. Normally, what I do is just I evenly spread them out. Like say I have 3 take profits, I'll do 3 sell limits or 3 buy limits. If I would have 4 profits, I would do 4 limits. And that gives you the ability to do, just an easy set your stop loss, all the same stop loss. Your take profits on each trade would be different. Clint touches on this in the risk management video on how he sets those stop losses for each trade. He breaks it down pretty well, I thought. So you'd be able to see that. I don't know if Clint, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, just a question, because I asked you this in the group and I think I got it clarified. But in a scenario where, like you're saying, you got 3 stop losses and you're entering in 3 limit trades or 3 limit orders. So let's say it's at a buck even and you're placing shorts. So it goes up to like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and those are your limits. So when it hits the 1.1 limit, you're going to use your take profit 1. And then when it hits your second limit, you're going to use the take profit 2. And when it hits the highest one, the third one, the most unlikely to hit, you're going to use your take profit 3. Is that the idea?
So when we come back to Euro JPY, use this as an example. Oh, Clint. I hope you're recording because I totally forgot to start it.
Yeah. It's still recording on my end. That's the beauty of redundancy.
Yeah. I just noticed that. All right. Besides that, back to your question. I had 2 sell limits. I had 3. Okay. So I had 3 sell limits, right? The furthest away sell limit would be set to take profit 3. This is supposed to say 3 here. Take profit 3. This sell limit here would have been set to take profit 2. And the one that I entered in first would be set to take profit 1.
Okay.
Why I do it that way is because this sell limit that got triggered has a higher likelihood of entering in drawdown or being knocked out, right? Or potentially going against you. So that's my worst entry, right? Because I have 2 of them above that. So holding the ones further away longer actually will help me increase my profits on that trade, because I can move up my stop loss sooner because the market should be further away, and it's the best entry. So, you can hold it longer. So it's just giving you more wiggle room, right? If the market wants to come up and retrace. So closest one that you entered in, right, would go to the closest take profit, and for this one would go to the furthest take profit.
One thing on that, because I didn't, so if you're trying to calculate the percent that you're risking on that particular trade, if you're setting limit
Correct.
orders.
In your video, you did not.
I pretended it was just a normal trade. But if you were to enter this into a demo MT4, and I set those 3 different sell limits, each with the same stop loss, I can hover over that stop loss, even though the trade hasn't been entered in yet, it's just been entered as a limit. I can hover over that stop loss and it'll still tell me what the dollar value is that I'm risking on each of those limits, because they'll be different, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So then anybody that's watching, once you watch my video, you can just do it that way. And then you'll know, let's say on this one, on the sell limit 1, you're risking $1,000, and on the sell limit 2, you're risking $700, and on the third one, $500. You would just add that total value together, put it into the spreadsheet, and that will tell you what you're risking percent-wise. It's kind of a bit of a back way. You can do it from both directions.
Yeah, I think the way that you did it, Clint, it might be off 0.5% at most. I don't think it'll be too bad, but yeah, if you want precision, you'd have to calculate each individual trade and their stop loss, because stop loss is going to be closer as your sell limits are different. I try to choose round numbers too, just to make it easier for you guys, honestly. Just so when you're typing them in and stuff, it's just round numbers. So I try to go for round numbers also on the buy limits, something to note. And it's also easier for you to calculate how many pips, right, it is to each take profit and stop loss. Clint shows you how to calculate a pip in his video. It's easier to add out also.
So
other questions?
I was just going to say, just to build on that, if you were doing that according to the way that I laid out in the video, I would just skip actually using the app on that one. And I would probably just have a demo account. I definitely have a demo account. And I would just place those 3 limits and just guess, okay, how much is it going to be if I place a 1 lot trade for each of the 3? And then I would hover over the line in the MT4, use those 3 different dollar values, put it into the spreadsheet, and then that'll tell you what percent that works out at. And if it's too high, I would just delete those trades and try re-entering them as 0.75 lots or whatever. Fiddle with it until you get it right, because they're limit orders anyway, so you've probably got hours at least before they're going to get triggered. So you can take your time and re-enter them 5 times into a demo account until you get to exactly the percent you want, and then you know, and enter that into your prop firm account.
Yeah, it's a little tedious. There'll be better ways. I'm actually going to be speaking with the developer. We're going to get our own indicators developed in the future that will help us determine the stuff, and we'll be all branded. So nice. I'm looking forward to that. Make these things a little easier. Clint's already done one thing. He's got that little Excel sheet. Just need few more tools here.
One step at a time.
A little easier. Anyone else got questions? If you don't ask a question, I know you're holding something back.
I've got a question, Jesse.
Yeah.
So something I learned this week was obviously we're all in different time zones, and sometimes when I wake up in the morning, given London, a signal has gone out, and maybe I'm like 6 hours behind the signal going out, and I enter into the trade, and sometimes this week, it came off really well, but I wasn't quite sure when was the good time to enter into the exact trade, given the fact that there'd been a bit of a time difference in the signal. So I don't know if that's covered off in Clint's video, or there is another way. Is it a case of going through the indicators, or how I might be able to determine whether it's a good time to enter?
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I'll go into it. So when I first started trading on using XK, you're a beginner trader. Kind of know what you're doing, kind of don't. You don't have that, real confidence built up yet. You're never going to get that perfect entry. So what I personally did was I didn't focus on my entry. You focus on the proper risk management. Yes, your trades may go into drawdown. Obviously, with FTMO, that's going to be more of a case, that you want to stay away from. That's why you probably want to stick to more scalp trades. And like I said, once I get all these accounts done, I'll provide my FTMO account. It'll be easier for you guys. But don't really try to get that perfect entry, because it's so hard and it takes time and experience to get, hey, you enter in the trade and the trade's immediately in profit. I mean, the amount of times you're able to do that is crazy, but we'll go into it. But I would say just don't focus on your entry so much. If you're using the proper risk management, and say we're 20 pips away from take profit one, right? Just saw the trade set up, right? You're seeing it late. You're like, wow, okay. I would definitely still place it on a demo account. And I would look at my live account and see, okay, am I in any trades? Some of these other factors would take a place in it, and then decide if you still want to take it. And then maybe just take a very light position. Just because you enter in a position doesn't mean you have to risk. If I say 1%, doesn't mean you have to risk 1%. Maybe just put down a 0.01. And if you're not very confident in that entry, then you put down a 0.01. I know you all go check your phone, right, to see if your trades are going in your favor. You watch and monitor that 0.01. So if that 0.01 is up 30, 50 cents, then you could go back up, do a reanalysis, and then you can make your decision, hey, now I want to add more weight to it. Or, hey, it goes into drawdown. Hey, now is the time to actually enter in more weight. So that also gets away that little FOMO itch that we all get, is you don't want to, you want to be in all the trades. That's for me. If I ever had FOMO, I would always go to a demo and I'd place the demo. I would create a $10 million demo, and I would just I'm placing this trade. It's so just get rid of that feeling, because that feeling is never going to go away. It's something that's an emotion that everyone's going to have to deal with. And for me, that's how I dealt with it, is I would enter in the trade very, very minimal, right, at 0.01, or go mess around with the demo and do what you can.
Cool. Thanks.
I mean, Kevin, my own advice to you would be just adjust your sleep schedule to whatever Jesse's time zone is.
I honestly think we'll have more international people here than actually.
Jesse texted me back last night about a question. I don't even remember what it was about. Something about the videos that we're doing. And I was working on some stuff because I'm kind of crazy with my own sleep schedule. And it was 3 or 4 a.m. last night in my time zone, and Jesse's 2 hours ahead of me. So it was 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And I don't think you had just woken up. I think you hadn't gone to sleep yet. He was like, oh, I'm just watching this video, and here's a couple ideas. It's oh, yeah, sure, I'll change it. I happen to be working right now anyway at 4 a.m. I don't think anybody else is up at 4 a.m. right now.
Yeah, no, I have a crazy sleep schedule, but it's also, for example, this week, I was on site for an architecture building that we're designing, and I was on there for 3 hours, and I couldn't check anything. So then I missed the signal, and then when I came out, blah blah blah. So it's because I just wanted to know, because I'm not going to be able to kind of grab everything immediately, but I think what Jesse said makes sense, and I kind of naturally did that a little bit. So when I saw the signal gone out and I had missed it a bit, I went in a bit more conservative immediately to see what would happen. And then when I got a bit of confidence, I upped it a bit. And this was the first week where I actually ended the week with about 6% up. All the trades I did ended up in the blue. So
nice.
It was compared to the week before, where I kind of blew the account because I had no risk management. This week was much more successful. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, the risk management is key. I'm glad that you learned from that, man, and been able to take that as a learning experience, apply what you learned, and now look, your results have kind of flipped. Obviously we had a great week also that helped, but I think it's the adjustments that you really made that helped you become, that profitable, man. Props to you on that, man. I love seeing the progress.
Yeah, cheers, man. That's cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more, Jesse. So I'm wondering, let's say you're doing the challenge, the prop firm challenge, and, so I'm up, I think I was up 5% or 6%, 5%. And then now I'm in about 1% drawdown. So let's just say when the markets open on Monday, for what, either I have to close the trade, or let's say all my trades get blown out. And so Monday morning, I'm down 1 or 2%, right? How would that affect and then let's say you send out 5 or 6 signals or 3 signals or whatever on Monday. Given the fact that there's a daily limit to your losses, how would I kind of factor that into, okay, normally I don't go over the 4% to try and stay under that limit for risk management, but I've already lost $1,000 today because I had to close out these 2 trades. So I guess I would be, for a day, for a 24-hour period, wanting to assume that I don't want to go over, let's say, 2.5%, because otherwise that lump together would bump me over. Is that sort of the idea, or what would you think?
Yeah, so that's a very tricky thing, and I think this is going to have to be a separate video, or the prop firm. So when you take a loss, that counts towards your drawdown, essentially, right? You can't see more than 5% drawdown or 5% daily loss. So if you take $1,000 loss, you can't see more than $4,000 drawdown. There has been cases where I've essentially over-risked the 4% on all my active trades, and I've taken a max loss on the day. And that is, you go back into your metrics, into your back office, they have the metrics and stuff, and they tell you what your daily max loss is actually, and you can check that too, but that is including your drawdown. What I do personally is I track it myself because it's just easier. You take X amount of loss, write it down on a notepad and say, all right, this is how much I could lose, and then you don't want to see your drawdown or anything below that. If I take a heavy hit, if I take a 3% hit in one day, I close all and I wait for the restart. I wait for my account to get reset so I can take more trades then. It's like, hey, cut it off, stop trading, something's not going right, reassess everything tomorrow when you have the 5% max loss. Gotcha. Even if it's like, I would say 1%, say you take $1,000 loss, right? It's your only trade. I would just sit out for the day and just wait.
Okay.
On average, you have to pass that test, you have to be doing about 2.5% per week.
And how does it work if you have a win on the same day? Like, let's say in the morning.
That win counteracts it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I lose $1,000 and I made $2,000,
if you make $1,000, you can see 6% drawdown.
Gotcha. That particular part is per day. Like, so for example, on this particular day, I close out one trade. Now I'm up 1%. So now for this day, I have about 6%. But next, like tomorrow, it would be 5% like normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It resets at 1 hour after market closes. So whatever time zone you're in, market closes 1 hour after that. I'm almost 100% sure it's 1 hour. It's 1 or 2 hours. I'm almost positive it's 1 hour after the market closes. It'll reset. And then so you'll be good to go again.
Market closes at what time in your time zone? We can all kind of coordinate to that. CST time zone.
4 p.m. my time, Central time zone.
Okay.
1 hour after market close. Yeah.
Actually,
closing, Yeah.
I had this concern too, and I looked on FTMO website and I talked to them, and everything on the account metrics, you can see how much time you have in front of you until the counter starts again, and they tell you also how much exactly you have for this time daily loss. What is your daily loss? And it takes it sees like all your trades you have taken at this time.
Your open trades. Yeah.
Exactly, and it tells you exactly how much dollar you can lose today and how many times you have left until the counter starts again on your account metrics. Because their server is not the same as obviously where you are, and you can on the settings you can set your own time zone, so it's coordinated to their time zone. I don't know if I'm clear about this.
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay.
Do you mean you can adjust the time zone that it resets at? You can set that to your own time zone, so it'll cycle at your own?
No, he's saying you can reset the time zone on MT4 platform.
Okay, I got you.
Exactly, just because the time zone of FTMO, they are, I think, in Republic Czech, something like this. And obviously the time is not the same, so you can set your own time zone and you know exactly how much time you have left in front of you, so the counter starts again.
Yeah, you'll be able to tell if it's off normally by the candlestick timer. It might close, like if you look at the 4 hour, the candle will be like, there's 1 hour left on this candle, but it just opened up or something. So that's where you would see if it's off or not.
Awesome. That'll be a good video when Jesse does it.
Hey Jesse,
Put it on the list.
Yeah.
when it comes to swing trades, for the FTMO challenge, so I know you can't hold trades open over a weekend. So that means we have to close them out. When we go back in to find our re-entries, say we're going to hold it for the swing trade. When we go back in to find the re-entries for the week, that following week, do you personally stick with like the zone that it broke out of, or are we? It's hard to say, like, because I know
you're saying. I know you're saying.
The lineup before then.
You're just talking about my original buy zones.
Yeah.
My original sell zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see a retest of that to enter it in, but most of the time you only see, if I put that limit up, right, that zone up, we probably see a retest of it one other time. We put it up, enter it in, we might see a retest of that zone one other time. If it retests that other time, then we're going to see that trend go into our favor, right? And we'll never see that test again. And it'll be former level of, it'll probably be a retest of a take profit, honestly. Because normally those take profits are set on support and resistance.
Yeah, okay.
For re-entries. And when you're looking at FTMO trying to enter in a swing trade, you pretty much are limited to Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday if you want. I would say Sundays and Mondays and early on Tuesday would be best. I would be making sure when I have a funded account, I'm completely out. I'm like Wednesday, I'm starting to think about getting out of the markets. I'm trying to make whatever in the beginning, because once we get the funded FTMO accounts, right? I don't know about a lot of you, but if you have $300,000 of funding, 10% a month, we're looking at 21 grand at that point. I mean, you don't have to make a crazy percent. So we're not trying to smash these crazy percents, but that's where you can get away with only trading in the beginning of the week with FTMO account. And then I would take your funds, put it in a separate account, right? And then you could use the swing trades on that, and you could hold them for months.
Okay. This makes more sense, because I was kind of confused about how I would hold FTMO swing trade account with that.
Yeah, it would just be earlier entries. You can take your profits even earlier, right? So I set up a trade, and I have take profit 1, 2, and 3. All right. You say you take it, and you say I have the same entry, same stop loss, but my take profit 1 is now your take profit 3, and you divide it into 3 separate trades, and you can actually use those swing trades as a shorter trade, and that's just earlier.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool.
I'm going to have to take off. So thank you tons, Jesse. I'm going to stop the recording here. And then you guys can obviously carry on. And then I'll touch base with you later today and we can sort some stuff out.
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, we'll sort that stuff out. And take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week trading. Look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow, Jesse.
Is there any other questions? Or no? Okay.
Now or forever.
It was great seeing you. Take care.
Thanks, Jesse.
We'll hop on a call tomorrow going over the new trade setups. I'll be sure to post up a link and everything. All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Jesse.
Take care, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.